Welcome back.
Well,
Right.
ready.
Yeah, welcome back, man. We are here. So you leading today?
I was not prepared.
Anybody want to lead today?
No. I don't know.
I'm messing with you. So yeah, good weeks. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You talking about like something good, something whack, something?
Yeah, if we got it, let's get it.
So
If anybody
today
wanna pop us off.
got a new job.
You speak up just a little bit because we gotta fight the air
Yeah,
conditioning or the heat.
Okay.
So new job.
Yeah, new full-time job. New
Right
full-time.
on.
Yeah.
Yay!
You gonna stay more than a day?
Yeah. I stay. Yeah. I stay. Yeah. This is for the near future.
Nice.
Right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Where are you working at?
Yeah, it's called Peak Technologies. Something like that. Yeah.
How do you find jobs?
So I went through Link. Well, this was through a staffing agency, like called Action Staffing, something like that. But I just applied it, and I got through them through Indeed.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing. Everybody I talked to in that building got a job at Indeed. I ain't never even heard of it. Till
Yeah,
now.
Indeed.
I got my
That's what's up.
Yeah, Indeed.
So that's just the thing.
Yeah, Indeed.
Yeah, that's how I got mine too.
Yeah.
I ain't never had a job without a hookup.
Yeah. That's nice, right?
That's
Got
good.
connections, right?
Ain't what you
Yeah,
know.
man.
Mine
He
is
didn't go to
not
school. That's what he go to
Right.
school for. Yeah, I got connections.
We ain't got no
Ain't nobody put me on.
applications all day. You know.
That's what's up. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Whackness for the week.
Whackness? Whackness. I can't think of none off the top of your head.
Cool. Anybody else? Dopeness, whackness for the week. I ain't even look at him. He waiting for me. He like, that one day was for me, huh?
Yeah.
Speak up.
And you don't have to. You ain't got no way.
Y'all trying to do that 2 jobs. And it was that waking up at 4 in the morning.
Real quick, what word did he just use?
Try.
Try. Yeah.
Word.
Try.
And continue.
So yeah, man. It was miscommunication from the hookup I had, you know. So you know, it was you know, it is what it is. I just pulled back from it until I got my stuff in order.
Oh, so the miscommunication, how did that affect you not having your stuff in? No, I'm messing with you. Word. Yeah, cool. So wait, are you calling that whack?
I'm calling that, yeah, waking up and not being able to, I guess, go do both like I planned. Yeah, that's whack.
So what's whack specifically, if you can say it?
Not like following through with what I said I was gonna do, being a man.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, cool. There's a dope scripture. I want to see if anybody knows what it means. It says, for the man, Julian version, Jul version. For the person who knows what to do and does not do it, to him it is sin. What does that mean? Or can somebody explain that to me?
Already tried.
I think I got something.
So, go ahead, Rich.
Go ahead, Les, you got it.
Go ahead, Rich.
Okay. I think it's kind of saying it's us being our own guides, going back to that, like judging ourselves. Like if you have a list of things you have to do and you don't do it, or things you see you have to do and if you don't do it, it's like, dang, I should do this. Like you start feeling like shame or, you know, dread and things like that. So I think it's kind of, for us, we make our own sense, so we're judging ourselves, saying like, oh, you didn't do this, you know, you're in trouble, it's bad. When really, God not even looking at that. Like, if you don't do it, you don't do it. Like, nothing you can do about it now.
Bingo. Yeah. Were you about to say that?
Yeah, she said it better than I would say it.
Word. So did you hold that against yourself when you was like, I'm gonna be able to do this 2 job thing? Yeah.
And then I noticed I was doing that, so like, yo, bro, chill out, you know. I had like, I was trying to go back to sleep.
Right.
And that thought was keeping me up. Bro. And then I finally went back to sleep and then got that call. Hey, yo, where you at? this, that. So I had to face it. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
essentially, that's why I just say don't be out here trying to dictate your life, saying what you will and you're not gonna
Yeah.
do. Because all you're gonna do when you don't do it is just hold it against yourself when you go through it, and you're gonna miss the real thing that you're supposed to see.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you would just know what you got to do and just go about it and stop lying to yourself about the future, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that, you'll be able to deal with it better than having that judgment or that what you classify as sin on you when you go through it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even say I'm gonna be on time no more. Because my mind, we want to be like, all right, this week, bro, we got to be on time this whole week. No, we don't. All I can do is do my best to be on time. That's it. And that's where I'm at. I'm not in no statement. You know what I mean? I either end up there on time or I don't. And that's it. And I ain't got no weight with it at all. But yeah, that was it. I just wanted to throw that in there. But the question for this week was, I want to hear somebody else's voice.
Hold on, can we circle back on that?
Yeah.
So where does like discipline and then responsibility come in where better time?
It would have did it where it was supposed to be and not in you.
said
You
what?
supposed to go through it like when they told you, oh, you gonna see it. You know what I mean? Like it'll happen on its own. And if you're not holding it against yourself, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Or you'll be able to, it'll work better, if that makes any sense. Like the person who told you, hey, you late, that's his job. Or to hold you against it. You know what I mean? You just need to keep your eye on yourself. Am I losing you?
No, I'm getting it.
Because your question about the discipline, it's not even about it's not about the discipline, because the only thing that you're gonna do is say, I'm not gonna do this, or I am gonna do this, or I should do this and I shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? No?
I mean, kind of, because like I get that mindset of like not holding it to you. Like that's how the the devil plays with your mind, the back and forth or whatever. But also, like, if I fully rely on that, then I have a reason to just like not like, I guess, be on time, for example, or just show up and do what I say I'm gonna do. If it just is what it is, even if I just fully adopt that mindset of just, oh, I like I'm not caring. You feel me?
Yeah, it's not caring at all. Because the caring takes you away from that moment. The caring is gonna bring you into past moments and the future moments. It ain't gonna let you be right where you at.
Okay.
Like when I'm look, bro, you've witnessed me and not being on time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have I'm just going through it. If it falls away, it falls away. I just recognize it as something that I would like to overcome. You know what I mean? And I just go through it. So in every moment, I'm not like, oh, I should do. I'm not drifting off. I'm staying in every moment when it happens. You know what I mean? I'm not before I get to the moment saying what I should do and trying to map out my steps. When I end up there, I am there. You know what I mean? And yeah, because when I dwell on it, I'll give you an example. When I dwell on it and be like, I should do this, I should be on time, it'll make me less likely to call that man and tell him beforehand. But when I'm like, oh man, I'm late right now, today, new day, I'm gonna just hit that man up. Because I'm in that moment and what should I do in this moment? I should let him know. You know what I mean? The moment that I find out I'm not gonna make it is the moment I'm gonna let that man know. Versus when I'm thinking of, I start trying to work it out in my head. And a second that I'm spending trying to work it out in my head could have been a second to call this man. You know what I mean? It just gets in the way when you start having that judgment against yourself. If anything, I'm just saying, don't be out there doing that nonsense. Because, of course, when you know what to do and don't do it, it's like you can't help but you can help but not hold it to yourself. You know what I mean? But when you don't, that's when it gets to fall away. Because when you holding it against yourself, it's just creating another issue. It ain't doing nothing for the present thing that's causing it. Like, you judging yourself for that ain't gonna make it stop happening. If it did, we've all done it and it don't work. You know what I mean? So it's just go through the moment without all that, is what I'm saying. And you don't have to worry about nothing else. It'll take care of itself, really. Is it confused? Does it sound stupid? Does it sound like it don't make sense? Okay, cool. Because if it don't, let me know and I'll try my best to explain it. But the best thing I can say is to end up at the point where you don't start counting sin to your own self, just stop saying what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do. You know what I mean? And just be in the moment. You know what I mean? And wait and see if you're gonna be on time. And when you're not on time, handle it then. You know what I mean? Don't try to handle it beforehand. Yay? Cool. So we can. All right. Did that work based off your understanding, or did that make sense based off your understanding of the? Okay. So the question of the week was, what is your obligation to your parents? This is one of my favorite questions. It's super dope to me. Anybody got a viewpoint, something that they see? Anybody want to respond?
Well, my simplest answer was to honor your parents.
Mm-hmm. And what is that?
Respecting your parents.
So you're obligated to respect your parents.
Yes, but I think there's a but in there.
What's that?
I think the but is, well, not the but. I think you respect them either way, but I was gonna say like you obey them, but you obey them when they in the Lord. You know, when they actually, I don't know how to explain it. Like you still should respect them even if they not like of God, but I don't know. I'm just saying you honor them. You honor your parents.
So do you honor them when they're in their Lord Satan?
You don't honor, like that's what I'm saying. Like you still honor them. You still honor them, but you don't like go with everything they're going with.
How do you do that?
Not go with everything they're going with.
Yeah.
Well, if you, I mean, you should know to be still yourself. Have your own relationship with God. So then you like, you don't treat them like trash, but you then, you become your own person. Yeah.
And you said honoring them means respecting them?
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, that just sums it up. Nothing like in specific.
And obeying them, respecting them, obeying them. I guess that's kind of the same.
So you obey them when they following Satan?
No. So I just
only when they following God.
Yeah.
Okay. So honor your parents only if they following God. That's your obligation to your parents.
It's like I want to say yes, but I guess as a child you don't really know that for real. But you don't necessarily take that. You don't look at that as deep.
Right.
So I'm just saying, yeah, you honor and respect them even if they not of God. Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah.
So are you obligated to your parents? Would you say right now you're obligated to your parents?
No, none of them outside the house. Thank you.
All right. So right now you have no obligation to your parents.
No.
Okay. Nice. You look like you want to answer.
No. You asked me a different question earlier.
I know I
did.
did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a response for what we just said?
Yeah, well, that's more in line with what he was saying. Respect on your parents as long as they are, in the right path, like in truth. You know what I'm saying?
Where you get that from? If they're in truth part. Because I definitely saw honor your parents in the Bible. Honor your mother and father.
Honor definitely. Honor. You can honor them even if they're in their imperfections.
Okay, how?
How?
Yeah. I'll give an example of honoring your parents.
And imperfect.
Yeah.
For example, let's say they tell quote unquote a white lie, which is a lie, in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You know it's wrong and all that. I don't have to call them out in front of that person that they just lied to and be like, "Oh, you ain't on that." You know.
So this is the young you.
You know, it's exactly. So it's like, I mean, that's could be honoring, I guess. Like even as a child, you know that's wrong, but like
would you say that you're guessing at what honoring them is, or would you say you know for a fact?
This is guessing. I know that honor thy parents is in the Bible, but I'm kind of guessing right now.
So you wouldn't say you know for a fact what they meant when they said honor your mother and father.
Yeah, I mean, no.
It's okay if you. Yeah. Do you recall any obligation that they said you have to your parents?
Obligation?
Yeah. Apart from the whole honor your mother and father thing.
Was it listening to your mother and father or follow instructions? I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Cool.
What do you mean by obligation? Like
something you're obligated to do to them.
to the parents?
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't think of
I think the only one I know. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, you go ladies first.
No, you go ahead.
I guess when I think about the question, right now I'm going through something like personally with my dad. A lot of like previously before I used to always be like, if you come in my life, I'm cool. Like we cool. If you don't come in my life, I'm cool regardless. And like a lot of emotion has hit, a lot of like resentment, a lot of unforgiveness, and I don't know how to proceed forward. And so in a way, I feel like the only obligation I have to him is forgiveness. I don't think I have any other. Like I don't gotta. Like sometimes I feel obligated to talk to him every day, you know, because we haven't talked in 20 years. So I'm like, I gotta call him every day, and I'm like, I don't have to call him every day. Right now, especially when I'm talking to him, and I got so much resentment, and I got so much unforgiveness, and I'm not even want to be on the phone with him right now. So I feel like my first thing is like forgiveness. And I even feel like that with my mom when I had that conversation with her the past last year. Like, I don't know, our relationship is so much better because we have these like hard conversations instead of like avoiding stuff. I don't know. So I feel like the biggest thing that I think that we owe our parents is our forgiveness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate the feedback. Appreciate it. What you was about to say?
The only obligation I know is just to move out of your parents' house
Mm-hmm.
and then like become one with your wife. It says your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking towards a man. And then so that's the only obligation I really know, other than everybody spoken on honor. And I think honor is just respect. And I think to respect somebody doesn't mean you have to agree with them, because you said, how can you honor somebody if their father's Satan?
Mm-hmm.
And I think like if your parent is telling you to do something that's not of God, you could just, you know, like respectfully disagree with them or not follow what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you're disrespecting them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is a way to still honor them, even if they're not leading the right way. But as far as obligation, I'm pretty sure the only obligation I know of is just to like get out the house.
Mm-hmm.
And build your own life. And it even says also like you're not respected in your own headquarters, your own home. So I think it all like ties in with like we have to become our own man and move out from our parents.
Okay.
Almost like relieve them. Like that's what you're like. That's how you're honoring them. It's like relieving them of you.
What if they get old
Mm-hmm.
and let's say they sick or something?
Right.
Are you obligated in that situation?
I don't think it says that. I don't.
Well, forget what it says.
Are you just
say that
asking
you're
me
obligated
personally?
in that?
I think that's more of a personal like.
And if we can't speak up just a little bit, the AC might make it a little hard to hear.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do that.
So, for me personally, I would take care of my mother.
You said you would?
I would.
And why?
Because I love my mom a lot, and you know, I would take care of her like if she needed me personally. And I think that's a personal thing, because some people like it will be a better decision to give them and they care of somebody else because that's more of a better situation. Like if you have your own like kids and stuff like that, and you know that a facility may take better care of them than you would, you give them attention, then you have to make the best decision for you. So I think that's more personal as far as taking care of your parents. But me personally, I would like definitely take care of my mom.
So personally, do you feel obligated to take care of your parents?
Do I feel obligated? No, I don't feel obligated.
Uh-huh.
That's who I am.
You are take care of parents?
No, that's who I am, like, as in me, like my person, like my character, I'm gonna take care of my mom and like my dad if they need me to. But I don't think that's my obligation.
Okay.
You know? Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Cool. All right. Are you obligated to take care of your parents at old age?
No,
Why not?
you're just not.
Who told you that?
I just don't think you are.
Okay, why not? They took care of you
Okay, they did.
when
but
you
I
couldn't
don't
take care of yourself.
because I was a child. They had me. I didn't have them.
Speak up.
So you don't at all feel obligated to take care of them?
No.
Okay. Culture-wise, do you think that there's like an obligation to take care of parents when they're old?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that obligation is coming from?
I think the parents feeling obligated to being taken care of. Like, I took care of you, so now I need you to take care of me.
Do you know anybody who's in that position or has been in that situation?
Oh yeah, I work in this industry, so like all of my patients, all of their caregivers are their children. So
What's the demeanor on them?
on the children,
Yeah.
some of them absolutely hate it and they can't wait for their parents to die. No, like for real, like some of them, their parents die and they be like so happy, like they move their stuff out same day. They be like,
Yeah.
and some of them are okay with it, like they be there a lot. So it's just like two ends of a spectrum.
What's the most?
Definitely like a burden.
So most of them are saying it's a burden.
Yeah.
And they don't
most
rock with
definitely.
that. All right.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, it's a burden, like, they want their parents to pass?
Like it's a burden to take care of their parents.
Oh, after, oh.
Yeah, because a lot of them have grandchildren and children, and they're taking care of their parents, and maybe two parents, and like they have
Like,
careers.
it's old people with old parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shoot, I know plenty of young folks taking care of their parents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was
right.
more
30 and
ideal,
up.
like a
Yeah.
young.
30 and up. So what would you say are you obligated to your parents?
Right now, like as an adult,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
So you have no obligation to your parents.
I would say to still respect them, but that's it.
Just respect them.
Yeah.
How so? Can you give an example of how respecting them would be an obligation, or what part of respect you're obligated to give to them, or just an example
Like
of
an
that
example,
respect?
I can't really think of an example, but just simply respect as I respect everybody else.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay. Now, do you respect everybody?
I try to. I think so.
Do you respect your parents?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But I also think culturally as well, like in African culture, it's definitely like it's not a question whether or not you're gonna take care of your parents. Like if your parents need help when you get older, like you're gonna do it. It's like I wouldn't say mandatory, but it's like
It's an obligation.
yeah,
It's expected.
it's expected. Yeah, I would say it depends on the culture. I know in certain countries or other cultures it is an obligation.
Would you say it's that way in America?
I don't think so.
Give me some other countries.
I
If you can guess.
I know like in like West African countries they usually take care of their parents.
What about Spanish countries and stuff like that?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know Asian.
Yes, they do. Oh yes, for
They
sure.
all be in the same house.
I know like Haitians do as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Masochist. Don't even
Asians too.
Jump out to see.
Everybody do. Dang, this is international.
Asians a little different. Asian, them grandparents got to do something. They got jobs to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, like around the house, like you can't just stay there. Like,
They
you
got
be
real.
doing
They
something.
be doing stuff.
gotta contribute.
They don't get to just sit. At least in the experience that I had, I ain't never seen an older, and I had never even heard of it, of an older Asian person not doing something. Yeah.
I was actually just telling my mom that, like, I was at work and I was like, Mom, I think that, like, culturally we need to do better is, like, preparing for retirement because, like, I see, like, no, I'm serious, like, and I was asking my dad, like, what you got? Because what's your plan? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, our parents are getting older and I see every single day, like, people retire, they think that their retirement is going to be enough to last them till they die, and it's not, like, at all. And they have to, like, go into horrible situations, or like the children have to become the caregivers. And so it's definitely your responsibility to like prepare for it.
Dang, retirement is not taking care of people.
Huh?
Yeah.
Retirement is not taking care of people how they think it is.
It's not.
No, it's not like
I know some that is and some that ain't. Shoot, I know I know some happily retired folks, boy, who sit back, chill, add on to the house every check. You know what I mean? Ain't worried about nothing. House paid for, all vehicles paid for, everything good. And yet, personally, I don't know nobody who's doing bad in retirement, but I do know that some people at that Walmart line done retired. The ones that be greeting us, and just small little chit chat with them. And I can't say I know for a fact. This is what they said, but
A lot of people I know that retired go back into like not real work, but just to do something, you know. Because this old dude named Mr. Brown does concrete for our house. Like he'll do like the pavement. He has to be at least 80, But he, I was talking to him one day, and I was asking him like, "Do you ever think you would retire? Because that's hard labor." And he was like, "I think if I retire, I would die. Like literally, if I don't work, if I don't have nothing to work for, I don't think I'll be here very long."
all the people I just mentioned too, the ones I said who are happily retired, they're the ones who still doing something.
Yeah,
They'll get out and they'll
stuff.
just deck out their whole yard themselves. They still working.
Yeah.
And the other, I do know one specific retired person who stopped working and just started losing all his faculties, just like withering away.
You just don't do anything. You gotta use your body and your mind. You gotta be able, you have to use it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, I know for a fact firsthand. And I used to brag about it. I was like, yeah, I retired in my 20s. Because legitimately I did. You know what I mean? And I was getting a check every month. And with that check, I became pretty, it was different. I was entitled. I don't want to go in depth about how entitled I was, but it was pretty entitled. Like even how I would spend my money, I'd be like, if all the employees at this place ain't happy, I ain't spending no money here. You know what I mean? I was stunned. But then I started losing like my sharpness. Because when I was working, I was sharp. You know what I mean? Before I retired, I was sharp. Then I took on some valet work. And it was like I was half retarded going back in there because I sat and did nothing after I left work for about probably a good 6 months. Yeah. And even in that short little time, I got half retarded. So I can imagine being old. But yeah. Did I ask you already if you have an obligation to your parents? Do you have an obligation to your
I
parents?
don't think no. I knew at a very early age, and I'm not even joking, but I used to, whenever I get in trouble, I used to like tell my parents I was gonna put them in a home to scare them. Yeah, that's pretty good. But no, like my parents.
That's a beautiful threat.
That's
a beautiful
It got me
threat.
out of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But no, like now I'm getting older and having those like real conversations with my parents. Like my mom, she's very healthy and she makes it a point like you will not have to take care of me. Because I feel like also being like a girl, being the only daughter, they kind of put it on daughters like you have to take care of your parents. But I think I'm graced with like parents that kind of my mom or so. My dad loves sweets, but I'm graced with like them, like they have their will and everything, their social security and everything set up with that money will be fine and geared to them if they do need care. Like I can be able to provide that for them. But they grew us up like making sure we knew we were obligated to take care of them.
So you don't
They
feel
take
like
care of
you're
themselves.
obligated to take care of them at old age?
No, but like who I am though, I will take care of my parents if I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dad told me straight up, if you ever get to that point where you just a vegetable.
If he's a vegetable?
Drooling, yeah, like drooling. He said, put him in the car,
And drive him off.
turn the music all the way up. And he gonna sit there in the passenger seat. He said, jump out, do your barrel roll out the driver's seat, and run the car off the cliff.
He'll be like, why you all busted up? Listen, I had nothing to do with it.
He said he gonna be like, wee.
Or in his head.
What about the car?
Oh yeah, the car gone.
Nice.
But like you might as well say the
Now, file
car.
the insurance claim, get all that money.
Hey.
Word.
I'm sorry, I knew you was gonna tell
Me too. I know you said something stupid.
I got a question for you though, because it's who you are to take care of them, right? out of love, you would take care of your mother or your father, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now imagine, let's just say, for instance, if you taking care of them, you got siblings?
Mhm.
Okay, so your siblings like, man, I ain't doing it. But you was like, what? Man, I love them, I'm gonna take care of them, right? So right before, like they get into the end, and you find out at some point during you taking care of them, like about 2-3 years into you taking care of them, they took you out the will and left everything to your siblings. You gonna still take care of them?
And like,
Out of that
so
love?
since it's hypothetical, like financially, how am I doing?
It don't
Oh my
matter.
God.
Let's just say you ain't financially the richest man on earth.
You're not doing good.
That would.
Would you
You
still
said-
be able to
what-
take
what
care of
would
them
I
out of
do?
love is my question.
Out of love?
On period.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. Because there's a logical explanation for everything. Why would you do that? Why'd you take me out to live?
Well, they got kids. You don't got kids yet. They figure they might need it more than you.
No, they just don't like you anymore.
Okay.
Taking care of
Or
them
you
too
might
Or
have
they
did
could be
something
like,
to
you
them. You might have
treated
got on their
bad.
nerves while you was
Exactly,
taking
yeah.
care of them. How about
Yeah.
Take care of them
that?
too
You
much.
took me out the will?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, forget the situation. You don't know. You just know that they took you out the wheel. You was looking, going through their affairs, trying to get it ready because you've been taking care of them. You handle their affairs. And then looking, you find out that you have been taken out. And you knew you was in there before. You saw it. It's been updated since the last time. And when you ask them, they just skating around the question and they will not respond.
What would you do, Rachel? You said that you would do that.
No,
out of
he
your
asked you.
heart.
We'll get to her in a second.
Yeah.
I don't know,
And you can
honestly.
pass if you want to. Would it be harder to take care of?
I don't know what I would do, bro. Yes, it would be harder to take care of them. Like, it would be harder to take care of them. It would be harder.
It's just got fun now.
It would be harder.
And why?
Like, definitely, personally, like, I wouldn't even. I'd probably just do more like basic things like meals, just only meals.
Oh my God.
You dumb down the
No bad outside.
Like, I would
Sit
leave,
there.
they would have to
Get food
do some
and sit.
things themselves. Seriously, I'm so serious.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's just like,
No, but that's real though. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Oh man.
But I don't know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, then we have to be honest because we have to be real, and then we have to be honest.
Yeah.
Ideally, you don't want to be moved by money. Ideally, and that's serious because that's what, like, money like breaks up a lot of things. But so if you really love them, it shouldn't affect anything. But you want to be realistic too. That's gonna hurt.
Mhm.
So it's like a conversation. If the conversation can be had, they're skating around it, then it's like. Then that's at that point. That's like that's like mean. Like I would call that like. I don't want to say evil, but I think that's kind of evil. Like,
It's also the
I'm taking
principle.
care of you, you know.
So,
So
It's the
Right.
principle,
Okay,
not
like,
even
I
the
thought
money.
you were doing this out of love.
well, yeah,
don't like
like
nobody
so that's what I'm
who
saying.
sorry,
Ideally,
that's
out of love, you shouldn't be motivated or moved by the money situation. Because the will is simply just saying money's involved, and now you're figuring out you're not gonna get money.
Mm-hmm.
So
What if it was no money? It was the property and all the assets.
see, that's still like money.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's still money. So you really shouldn't be moved by money. Love should be greater than that. So I love my mom, bro. I don't know. You hear me say, like, when you asked me, I said my mom.
I heard that. Yes.
You know, like my dad, I don't know. He got a lot of kids. He might have to go over there. But my mom, I don't know. That wouldn't move me. Like my mom, I'll do anything for my mom.
Mhm. What if she started giving to his other kids?
She started giving to the kids that are not hers.
Yep.
That's crazy. She would never do that.
You know what I'm saying? If hypothetically,
And she,
and you still taking care of
that's
them,
so
and won't
unrealistic.
nobody else
If
do
she's
it.
giving to my dad's children that she has no relation with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
I'm confused now.
That's crazy. And if she started doing that, she's definitely not living with me anymore. She can go live with them.
So
Giving to someone
if-
else's kids.
okay, so would you say that you're stopping taking care of her out of love too?
No, for real. I don't know if I'll start taking care of my mom, bro. Now, if we want to, because I know what you're trying to do with my dad, though. Now, because that sounds like something that might be more realistic because he has a lot of kids.
Mhm.
So I could really maybe see that happening. And I don't know if my love for my dad is that much. So like maybe like I really would stop. And I'm hurting financially, and I'm not gonna go broke for him. I'm not gonna go broke for him. Man. So and that man lived his life. So I have to do it for his grandchildren.
Your mom lived her life too, did she?
Nah, but my mom, man, that's different.
How?
I don't know. Like I was in her stomach.
You was in your dad too.
I don't know. Like I don't know.
He
if-
put you in her stomach. What you mean?
It's definitely more. It's more of an emotional. It's more of an emotional connection. So that way, since it's such a more of a strong connection for me, I don't know if like something like that easily can make me stop loving my mom. I really.
You talking about taking care of her though?
Yeah.
After she took you out her wheel and gave it to your other brother that ain't got nothing to do with her. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if money could make me stop rocking with my mom like that. Like I said, I'm so serious about like the meal thing. Y'all were laughing. Like I'm probably definitely just want to probably only like feed her, and you know what I'm saying, maybe a shower. You know what I'm saying, a shower a day, but I'm not doing anything extra. No
That's pretty
walks.
good.
So the
Yeah.
money will make you do that.
I'm saying
Yeah,
like if she's
override
being
the love
mean
of
to
the-
me, yeah, like I'm
No, but
just
she's still
Right.
nice. She's still the same mama. You just ain't in the real no more.
That's not.
She did nothing different. She talked to you
No,
the
she
same
did
way,
me.
looked
If
the
there's
same
no
way,
explanation,
smiled
if
the
there's no
same
explanation
way.
for it, then that's evil.
But right, she ain't did nothing. She ain't acting no different towards you. She just don't got your name on a piece of paper.
Then we can have a
That
conversation about it.
But she don't want to talk about
That's mean.
it.
That's mean. Right.
So
Oh,
just giving her food is nice,
Yeah,
but not
def-
mean.
I'll give her food. I'll make sure.
She was like, "What's happening? You just thought you changed on me."
I'll be like, let's have a conversation, man. If you don't want to have a conversation,
Off limits. I love you the same, but I just ain't got nothing for you.
then yeah, she's just gonna rock with the food. That's my answer. I'm
Nice.
just gonna give her the food and. Now, what would you do? Because you said, you know,
I would do it out of love. I would still take care of them. They can't take care of themselves.
Mhm.
I trust myself. I know I can make them clean, feed them the right way.
Exactly.
I don't want to put them on nobody else or put them in a home for real. Like,
So you wouldn't feel no type of way if you find everything to your brothers.
God got me.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not obligated to leave me.
Mm.
Although the Bible does say for fathers to leave, you know, things for their children after, but that's between them and God. I mean,
Are you a child?
What?
Are you a child?
am I a child? No, I'm not a child.
Okay. So you say you would still take care of them even if they took you out the wheel?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you be at all a little bit bitter at your brother because he ain't doing none of the work? And he getting everything?
Honestly, it would surprise me, but
Uh-huh.
to be honest, I probably in the beginning feel this type of way, but hopefully by then, God will have my heart changed, you know, where those things don't bother me.
Okay.
So,
Nice. I don't want to end the fun. I'm having a blast. This is I love your response too, man. Thanks for really going in depth and saying what you see. Does anybody feel like their parents think that they should take care of them, or does anybody feel like their parents are expecting you to take care of them when they're older?
It might be that.
Hmm?
I feel like maybe they ain't said it out loud,
Mm.
but I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay.
They'll probably look up and be like, I'm 75, what's up? I'm like, what's up? Shoot.
Yes.
Oh well.
I actually signed up for a caregiver class at my church that they're having
Mhm.
to learn if, like, God forbid, if my parents do get hurt or something happens to them, to learn how to take care of them.
Okay.
So, just in case.
Whose responsibility is your well-being? Anybody want to answer that? If anybody wants to respond.
At what point?
Period.
Who's
Yeah.
responsible? I say God first and foremost. And I'll also say as a child, here on this earth, like, I guess more on the physical, on practical, my parents when I'm a child.
Mhm.
Then after that,
Mhm. Do you think you owe them anything for that care that they gave you?
oh no.
Anybody feel like you owe your parents anything?
Well, not old. I wouldn't say old. I guess we going back to honor.
I was just saying, oh,
Okay, yeah, no.
okay.
I would say like sometimes you feel like you owe them like, you know, success. I don't know, like to be, you know, a capable individual and be like, you know, productive in this world. Sometimes I feel like I owe my mom that. Sometimes she says I'm an investment.
So she's told you you're an investment.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's what I was looking to see. How did that make you feel when she told you you were an investment?
Honestly, it made me feel good.
It didn't put like any type of weight on your shoulder?
Oh yeah, it definitely puts weight on my shoulder. Yeah. But it like, I don't know, it makes me feel like she believes in me, you know, to put like invest in me. But it does also put weight on my shoulder to produce.
Right. And the investment, do you think it's an investment without a return? Like an investment that's like not looking for ROI or return on investment?
Wait, I don't know that terminology.
Like say for instance, if I invest in you, the fact that I'm using the word invest means it's not a gift.
Right.
That means I need something in return.
Right.
Would you say that same investment statement is a part or with the return expected?
I think it's expected.
Any guess of like, can you quantify that return?
I guess to like make her proud.
Oh, just to make her proud.
Yeah.
Not like buy me a house.
No. I don't think it's nothing like, cause yeah, my mom is not that, but I just like make her proud and accomplish my goals that I have for myself.
Do you think that hurts or helps more people, or helps people more, or do you think that has hurt more people or helped more people? That expectation of being an investment.
I feel like sometimes it can hurt people because if you fail, then you're a failure. You know, like it's I don't know, it becomes who you are in a way. Especially because sometimes it's a timeline with that investment. It's not like that investment needs to be, or that return on that investment needs to be like completed at a certain time, and sometimes it doesn't get there.
Has anybody felt the urge to buy their mom a house? Or their parents a house?
I'm going to.
What you mean by urge?
Like, 'cause I know that was a thing. Like, I'm guilty of wanting to buy my mom a house.
Oh, yeah.
It's like in all songs and stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's all the football players.
He ain't never bought their daddy a house, but buy my mama a house. Yeah.
Everybody.
I think they got it.
Like, damn, we on there yet. Damn, what about the father?
Word. And even man, what about the father? Like buying the father house? Why your daddy ain't get a house?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why did that responsibility skip him and now you got it and you a little kid?
It's like a black thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is.
It's 100% rooted in black culture. Like that's a staple. I don't know where it came from, but I know I first heard it in rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of them were raised in single parent homes,
Right.
unfortunately. So they're trying to honor their mother.
Yeah.
Word. Nah, it sounds like they're trying to play the husband role to the mother.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, you buying her house, that don't even make sense. Like that's like saying the baby bird to build the mother a nest. That don't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like logically, that makes no sense.
That's our obligation.
Okay. Does anybody see why I'm asking this question?
I think, I guess you're just trying to allow us to see where we supposed to be placing our parents at, like where they should be at in our lives. I'm coming to like the really, I think honor, or I guess kind of trying to look into it. Honoring just mean like, just to me, that's what I kind of get. Honoring is just kind of holding them or making sure you respect their position as a parent, basically. Like you just acknowledging those my parents.
Okay, just say, hey, you my parents.
Yeah,
but I hate you.
No. Along with like I said, the respecting and obeying, you know, for the most part.
When does the obeying stop?
When does the obeying stop?
Or does the obeying have an expiration date?
I don't think I feel like it is. Maybe it does. Cause I'm trying to think. I feel like after you a certain age, when you're adult, it's not like you don't obey your parents, but it's like at that point, there's no reason to like have to obey them. Like they shouldn't be really giving you commands in a way when you're adult. You should be thinking for yourself, or there shouldn't be. I don't know, if you ask them for advice and they give it to you, then I mean, I will obey it. I mean, you went to them for the advice in a way, or you know, but you still should be thinking for yourself when they give you that advice. So I don't know how to, I feel like it don't really have an expiration date, but you shouldn't have to obey. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't have to obey later on in life, really. Like,
So when you 25 or 26, well, if you 28, let's just pretend.
Yeah.
Your parents say, "Hey, do this."
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't have to do that. No.
No, if you're still in the house. then-
Okay, yeah, I guess if you're in the house, sure, that's the rule we got. But I feel like, yeah, no. If you on your own, like I don't have to jump because you told me to jump. You know,
So you
out of my heart, I probably, you know, out of love, I probably do it. But I ask you what's to it, and if I can do it, I do it. But I don't have to do it just because you said it. Not at all. I'm my own person now.
okay? Anybody else see why I asked the question? And I want to take a stab at why. Take a guess why I like this question so much, or what made me even ask this question. No.
Maybe to expose people who have so much love for their mama.
Or if it's I don't want to say the shoot. If it's transactional,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
you know what I mean?
It's not supposed to be transactional at all. Like my parents. I mean, I think I answered the question when you asked me first on Wednesday.
What question?
Like, is it your obligation to take care of your parents?
Oh,
And
when they're old.
whose obligation is it to take care of your parents, something like that?
When they're old.
When they're old and or in the hospital and they need. If you answer the obligation, whose obligation is it to take care of someone? I mean, ultimately, your health is your responsibility. And just like Rachel's parents said, my parents told me similar stuff. Like, you know, my dad's in the gym for that reason, or watching what he eats and all that, just to prolong life. That's on him. But yeah, when I become a father, you know, if it's in God's plan, if that's in God's plan, then yeah, I don't want my children feeling obligated that they need to take care of me. That we raise right, and you know what I'm saying. If I have, hopefully I have plenty to leave them, and all that. But you know, if they want to take care of it, if I have to, that's the love out of their heart, regardless of.
Somebody remembered. Well, go ahead. I try to remember.
What it was?
Wait, did you still have something you was about to say? That was it. That was a beautiful response, by the way. Okay, you good?
Mhm.
What you was about to say?
So the question was, are you obligated? So he asked the question: are you obligated to take care of them when they old and in need?
No. New question now.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
question was, what is your obligation to your parents? New question is, should you take care of your parents when they old?
When they old, are they in need?
When they old and in need,
Okay. I feel like when you add the in need in there, yes.
and why should you?
Because they're in need, and that's your parents.
What if you don't want to?
That's your parents and they're in need. I feel like that flipped the switch.
But you don't want to do it.
Sorry, but you gotta do it.
Why you got to do it? Who gave you that responsibility? How did that become your responsibility? If you have to, that means that's a responsibility.
That's honoring your father and mother.
That's honoring them.
If they're in need, yeah. If they're in need.
But what if you don't want to do it?
That's honoring.
And your brother ain't got nothing to do. He chilling.
That's
He ain't got nothing to do, and he stay right next door.
I mean, he got his own. I mean, he under this umbrella too. He got to honor his father and mother too. So.
But nah, he like, I ain't doing nothing, bro.
I mean,
That's
It's on you.
Oh.
You the firstborn.
I'm cool with that. I gotta honor my father and my mother. So I'm cool with that.
So you should.
In need, yeah.
And why should you?
Why should I? Yeah, I just feel like that's honoring. That's part of that.
Apart from the honor, imagine you never heard that. Why should you?
Why should I? I feel like you the only. Well, you're not the only thing they got after each other. I feel like because you able-bodied, you able-bodied to do it. Like you in a position, you should be in a position at that point to help them in need.
So you should be in a position to take care of your parents in need.
Old parents, yeah.
Old
people
parents.
in need.
So a young person should be in position to take care of an old person in need.
An adult person should be
An adult, yeah, a young adult.
a young adult.
Or even like just say you right now, your age right now. If this happened right now, hypothetical situation.
Oh, okay. So they consider old right now. But they old. They older.
No, right now they in need at whatever age they at.
Okay. Yes. Yes, I still believe that.
Okay.
You're right. Right. I mean, you gonna have to adjust.
and why should you?
Why should I? Like I said,
Okay, no, forget that. Let's say if you had no kids, what then? You in that same position you was just thinking they was in?
If I had no kids.
Yeah.
Man, look, I'm like Lester Daddy. Somebody drive me off. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, maybe next to kin, I don't know, like somebody. Well, if I ain't got no wife or nothing, I mean, if you saying we both in need or something, or
Period. Just say it's just you.
yeah, I don't know who next. I don't know who next after that. If I ain't got no kids, I
Uh-huh.
don't know who next. Maybe my brothers, sisters,
Okay.
but
Okay. Let's just say you. Okay. Yeah. We'll stop. Let's stop with that.
I'll say the reason I say this though, 'cause I just remember Jesus saying one time, like that, like you shouldn't be like disrespecting your parents. As like if they're in need, you should be helping them. You shouldn't. Don't be like writing off your parents just because you're an adult now. You're your own person.
Jesus said you should take care of your parents if they're in need.
He like alluded to it. I wouldn't say he said that verbatim. Like,
Do you think you'd be able to find that like within the next however long before we end this?
yeah, I might be wrong. That's
Cool. And yeah, I'm just asking because I'm just asking. Does anybody feel like they should take care of their parents in old age?
I don't think it's just your parents. I think you're supposed to
Let's stick with
give
parents.
to the
though.
needy though, in general.
We'll continue. I won't interrupt.
Okay, sorry,
in
but I
general.
mean, you're saying the parents, but I mean, we're supposed to. We have it to give. We're supposed to give to the needy. If our parents have this to fall under that umbrella, then we should do that. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily an obligation, but you know, even Jesus, like,
What does should mean?
I don't know. It's like you're supposed to.
Uh-huh.
So it's not that you're supposed to or you have to. I think it kind of just falls on the umbrella of being a giver. I mean, Jesus did tell his mom, you know, when he was like 12 or 13, like, "Woman, don't you see me at my father's work?" You know, he kind of told his mom to go do whatever. But I don't think if you honor, I think honoring your parents is doing God's will, and you honor them kind of just in general if you do that, even if they old and needy.
So should you take care of your parents when they old?
It's not a should. It's what's the right thing to do. What's wrong to do. So I guess
So taking care of your parents when they old is right.
if they're in need, yes, you're supposed to help those who are in need.
Why is that right?
Because they're all, you know, I don't know. Stop. I'm stumped. I don't know.
Okay.
I was just saying. Go ahead, Tanya.
You sure?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say I think I agree with them too. Like, if they are unable to, because obviously we all would hope that we can take care of ourselves, but there is a certain point where, like, I think a lot of people won't be able to take care of themselves. So if a person gets to that point, then I think you should take care of them. Like, if your parents get to the point they can't take care of themselves,
And why should you do that?
because nobody else is gonna do it.
Name another creature on Earth that does that.
I really don't know much about other creatures to even
Does a
like.
dog do that?
Nope.
You
I
know
mean,
why?
most of them get separated
All
from
right,
the
let's
others.
say non-domesticated creature. Does a bird do that?
Well, birds like fly away from the nest, and I don't think they really know. I don't think they really have like a relationship with their parents after that.
Dang.
Does anybody else know any creature
Makes sense.
that does that?
Nah.
Do you think that God made us a little bit more capable than every creature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not created in His image?
Yeah.
So, should we not be able to do the same?
That's true.
But like if you're
Yeah.
disabled, okay, like if you have a disability, even if you're not really old and you have children that don't want to take care of you and you can't take care of yourself, who's gonna take care of you?
So we're not. Who's
Who's
going to take care of you?
Yeah.
I mean, if that was me, I'd say whoever I hired.
For the rest of your life.
if that's what was needed.
And you don't, but you may not have
We
that
don't have the
money.
funds for that.
Well, I mean,
For the rest of your
peep
life,
this.
that's a long time.
run
Every
away.
day,
Who
24
from run
hours.
away? Run this area.
I'm like 15 minutes away.
So
I
Pete,
was
there's
like,
this chick, right? There's
Yeah.
this chick that from the time that I was in elementary school, I have seen her walking up and down the street. She go to trash can, she eat every day, she drink, you know what I mean? She's straight.
Mhm.
She ain't frail, she ain't fat, normal body type. That's since I was in elementary school. And we've heard crazy stories like she got a rich family but she ain't want nothing from. We don't know what's true. But ain't nobody taking care of that human being. Whether she mental or whatever in the head, you can really go anywhere and get food. I mean, her legs work. Say if her legs didn't work, I don't know what she would do, but we've tried to help that woman. She would run from you. She would not let you help her at all.
How'd you approach her? I mean, what were you wearing?
No, nobody can help her. Listen, I've seen her since I was a little
Like,
kid. It don't matter what you. It don't matter what you pull up in. It don't matter what you try to give her. Nobody. She don't take nothing from nobody. At least that I've seen. I've never seen nobody be able to do. And everybody from around the way know this chick. You know what I mean? Or knows of her. Don't might know her. But yeah, ain't nobody taking care of her.
But that's because she's able. There's a lot of people with disabilities. That's what I'm saying. So that can't do that.
They can't take. They just.
Yes, there's a lot of people that get to.
So
an age
whose
they can't.
responsibility is it to take care of them?
So that's what I'm saying. Who's gonna take care of them? Like a lot of them die because nobody can take care of them. So if it was my parent, I'm gonna take care of them because I'd rather them. I help them than to just see them die because nobody can help them.
There's not somewhere these people can go.
Not for
They
free.
go to,
Not for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
we pay taxes for that, don't we?
And then even then, like
Pay taxes.
you can go to a place and because of the care you're getting there, you can die. So it's like
Yeah,
that's why I would take care of my mom or dad.
Shelters and stuff like that.
Okay.
That don't happen
Oh,
there.
you're talking about shelters? I don't know anything about that.
I mean, 'cause I could be wrong, but as far as I know, in America, there's always somewhere you
Like
can go.
disabilities?
And you get paid. You get disability checks.
Yeah, disability.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
But like that doesn't mean you can afford 24-hour care.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying.
So I ain't about to give nobody no statement. I like where y'all finding some cool. Anyway, I like the journey. So you should take care of your parents when they're old. What's your answer to that question?
I'm
Should
saying
you?
not
That's the
even
question.
just old. Like if my parents are unable to take care of themselves for whatever reason, old age or whatever it is, yeah,
You should do that.
yes. Because
Why?
back to what they were saying, they're in need,
And
and if you don't do it, no one else is going to.
Does that should have an expiration date?
As long as they're in need.
yeah,
So example,
no longer need it.
your parents' care for you has a technical expiration date. Legally, it has an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they took some actions that led to a responsibility, and that was to take care of that responsibility, you,
Mm-hmm.
for 18 years. Let's say if at 18 they become disabled, they just can't do certain things. You 18. Let's say they had you when they were 16. So y'all were 34. They 34, both of them. Well, let's just say it's just your mom, 34.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't stand your doggone mom growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But she gonna need care for as long as she lives.
Mm-hmm.
Should you take care of her the whole ride?
Yes.
Until like 96?
Yeah.
And why.
But even then, that like even that like taking care of them, like you can still do certain things for them that like they can't do for themselves, but it doesn't require a lot of demand from you. Like you can maybe get the resources that they wouldn't be able to get for themselves, if that makes sense.
And why should you do that?
Who else is gonna do it? Like
Somebody
that's what I'm
who they
saying.
pay.
But I'm positive most people can't afford that, is what I'm saying.
Maybe one of their friends. Maybe somebody at one of these facilities who
They're not
with a
going to do it.
nonprofit who wants to help these type of people.
They're not going to do it
What if they want to?
if they want to, but there's a lot of people that fall under the umbrella of nobody's gonna take care of me.
So apart from nobody taking care of them, then why should you do it? You should take care of them because nobody else want to do it. Wait, that's your answer.
Right.
Okay. What does should mean again?
Should, it means like you're obligated, like you said.
I don't think it means
Should.
obligated.
You said what?
I don't think it means obligated.
I don't think it means obligated too.
It's
Like, it kind of.
supposed to.
Because there's like should, but you don't have to.
Somebody pull up that word for me if you don't mind.
Give me one
Like-
second. Let me.
I should, but I'm not going to.
Should, but you're going to.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So does anybody else think they should take care of their parents when they're old?
Should be the right thing to do out of the love in your heart.
Where does right come
Oh,
from?
shit, it says.
Good thing.
Say that again.
What did it say?
It says used to indicate obligation, duty, or promise.
Say that one more time.
Technically-
Sorry.
Used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness. Technically, when criticizing someone's actions.
So I think that you should make sure that your family is okay. Like if your family's in need and you have the power to change that, then you should. So let's say if my mother's in need and I'm older, it's my obligation to make sure that even if it's not me, like make sure she gets to somebody who can help her, whether it's a home or like just make sure she's taken care of. But I can't. It's wrong, and you're not supposed to not do anything. Like
Why is that wrong?
because it goes back to just like what's good and bad, like Lester said, because it's only good and evil. So like what's good, like about like what Rachel said. Like what Rachel said, she said that it says in the Bible we're supposed to take care of people in need. So if somebody's in need, and especially if they're your family, I mean, like take the family out. If somebody's in need, like you said earlier, we're supposed to do something. So if it's your family, that's more of emotional attachment, and like, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think that you have to be the one to do it, but I do think you should be involved in making sure that if your mother or father cannot take care of themselves, you should be involved in making sure that they get the care they need. Whether it's you, if you decide to take that on, because you have that discernment. If you know you're not going to be able to do it, then don't do it, because then you're just putting them in a worse situation or getting them the help they need. So like, I think maybe it's not we're obligated to take care of our parents, but we're obligated to make sure they're okay because they fit in the category of
That's
somebody
taking
in
care of
need.
them.
So then yeah,
Directly or indirectly. So the should, now that we say that means obligated. So you think you obligated to take care of your parents in old age.
if they're in need.
Yeah.
I found a verse.
What's up?
What Jesus said. Oh, let me say the whole thing. Then came to Jesus, Matthew 15. Then came to Jesus, scribes, Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, "Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders?"
Speak up just a little bit.
My bad. Then came to Jesus, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, "Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread." But he answered and said unto them, "Why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
Yeah.
But ye say,
Sorry.
Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father and his mother, he shall be free.
Mhm.
Thus have ye made the commandment of God of non-effect by your tradition?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what that?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay,
I was gonna
nice.
ask, yeah, because I think I read another translation, Matthew 15 and 1 through 6. So
In between the ye's and thou. Anybody else
Yeah,
understand
I
that? Nobody
Yeah.
understood that.
So in another translation, let me
Nice.
tell you, I think that's why I said it, because in the other translation,
Uh-huh.
it's a
I know exactly what that means.
It's
Somebody in this room said that too.
yeah.
Somebody said that. I would love to say verbatim, but verse spirit. The exact same thing. They use different words though.
Okay, it said,
And
it
hit
said
that on the head beautifully. But yeah.
so can you help me?
What's up?
I'll say I think I took that differently, because in another translation,
Mhm.
it said, this is Jesus talking. He said, anyone who speaks disrespectfully of father and mother must be put to death. Right? That's like cursive. It speaks disrespectfully.
That's
what
the
it said.
translation for it.
Right.
The best thing I can say to address that, it ain't what you say, it's what's in the heart.
Yeah. And then
them words are coming from somewhere. Those are the sons of what's in your heart.
true.
Yeah.
So the last part, I think that's kind of confusing. It say, but you say it is all right for people to say to their parents, sorry, I can't help you, for I have vowed to give to God what I would have given to you.
Mhm. Say that one more time.
So it said, but you say it is all right for people to say, he talking to the Pharisees,
Right.
they saying, it is all right to say to their parents, sorry, I can't help you, for I have vowed to give to God what I would have given to you. In this way, you say they don't need to honor their parents.
Right.
That's another translation. That's why.
Right. It's so close in that translation, but there's a they made it not about what it is. It's like it's a that can be distracting if
Yeah.
you
No, yeah, because that's why I thought
Mm.
the obligation and need part, like when you had the need on there, that's what I got from that. Like, I thought, okay, because to me it seemed like Jesus saying they in need at this moment, and he like, nah, I gotta give God this. So
right.
he's saying they
Right.
disrespecting them by saying like,
Yeah, and I'll explain how now because we got it's time.
Okay.
First, we got everything out, a lot out. Is your I want to ask you: is your obligation to your parents different than your obligation to me?
No.
So should you take care of me when I'm old?
Julian, if you need help, you know.
If
you don't know
mean,
nobody.
Should you do it?
obligation.
Am I obligated to do it?
Yeah.
I feel like I would.
But are you obligated to do that?
No.
Okay. Does anybody else feel like their obligation to their parents is the same as their obligation to me?
Like to scrub your back, like when you're older.
Yes, that's
Listen,
yes then, right?
I'm not
You
gonna
do
say
it.
nothing other than, does anybody feel like their obligation to their parents is the same as their obligation to me?
Honestly, no, but I
no
feel
way.
like God would say yes, like you should.
Why would God say yes?
And God said yes, but like,
No, I'm
That's what
asking.
I'm
No,
understanding
don't
the
forget what you think I'm saying. I'm trying to find out what you're saying.
Yeah.
Why would God say yes? You said what you said.
I don't know, cause I feel like it's like picking and choosing who we choose to love and who we don't choose to love.
Like what he just said in that scripture a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's what I'm saying. Yes, that's what it sounds like. So I'm like, okay, you're supposed to love everybody. You're supposed to treat everybody the same. Your parents, you happen to come through them, you know what I'm saying? But they're everybody. They're on the same level as everybody else. So what you would do for one, you should do for the other.
Mhm.
So
And why
it's
should
technically,
you?
I feel like yes, if I'm gonna take care of my parents,
No.
no.
Oh, you saying now I'm obligated to take care of my parents? I'm obligated to take care of Julie?
Yes. I don't think I'm
love dynamic,
obligated to, but is that what it's trying to say? That's what I'm
Love
understanding.
dynamic.
I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm just trying to hear what you were
No, go
saying.
ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Honestly, me, I feel like no.
So your obligation to me is not the same as your obligation to your parents.
For Rachel, yes, no. I would
For
agree.
Rachel,
I'm sorry.
yes, no?
Yeah,
What does
sorry.
that mean?
Well, I confused myself.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying like, for me right now, I would think my obligation to my parents isn't the same to my obligation. Isn't the same obligation I have for you.
Okay.
But biblically, I feel like we're supposed to. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm understanding.
We're
you
supposed to
saying.
what, dude?
Like if I'm gonna take care of my parents, I should take care of Julian or Neo
Well, no, elders.
or. Huh?
Elders?
I think that verse is
What
Just
about these
elders?
young
But it's
disabled
talking
folk,
about
man?
virgins.
I was gonna say there's a lot of disabled people.
Young folk.
I mean, but old people, I guess. So I guess you old, and everybody else your age and up.
So, the answer to your question is your obligation to your parents is not the same as your obligation to me. Okay. Who gave you the obligation to your parents? Who gave you the obligation to me?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. The obligation, because they're not the same, right? You said the obligation to your parents is different than the obligation you have for me. Who gave you the obligation to me?
I don't know. I think I did myself.
So you.
It's like picking and choosing and being my own judge. Like who gets the love or this amount of love and who doesn't.
Well, even the obligation of love. Who gave you that obligation?
Well, God did. You're supposed to love. Yeah. It's an
Okay.
obligation. You're supposed to do that.
No, forget I just
Not
said
supposed
that.
to, but
Okay, you should obligate.
Right.
You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Obligate. Yeah.
Who gave you the obligation to your parents? The one that's different than mine. The one that's different than your obligation for me. That obligation. Who gave you that obligation?
That would be Jesus when he says honor thy mother and thy father, and it's the 10 Commandments.
Okay, nice. Anybody else feel like their obligation to their parents is the same as their obligation to me? And if not, we'll get to the other one.
You say it's the same as obligation?
Well, I'm asking, do you feel as if your parents, excuse me, the obligation to your parents is the same as your obligation to me?
Look, I'm stuck on the honor thy father and thy mother. So he said that. So he ain't talk about. Well, he did talk. I mean, before is love thy neighbor as thyself. So that come not before, but he summed it up in that. That was one of the two, Psalms of the commandment. He ain't used the honor thy father and thy mother example in summing it up, Jesus. So I would say the obligation is the same. I'm feeling it's the same. But I'm saying not. We're saying it's the same. The obligation for you and my parents is the same. Now I'm asking like, where does the honor come in then?
Nice. So you're not 100% certain what honor thy father and
Is
mother
that yeah?
mean. Somebody in here said it perfectly, beautifully,
Who?
truthfully. And I think we about to wrap. Yeah, we can wrap. The only obligation that you have to your parent, even like straight up what honor thy father and thy mother mean, is don't hold nothing against them. That's all that means. You know what I mean? Have no resentment. Forgive him. She hit the nail on the head. That's why I moved on. It wasn't nothing else to say. And apart from your parents, the only obligation that you have to anybody is the same. The only thing that you owe anybody on this planet is love. Love don't mean I have to take care of you. You know what I mean? Like for instance, in my situation, I'm able to take, and the reason why I ask this question is because I see that the children who end up taking care of their parents they're not able to take care of their parents with the right spirit. They're doing it in bitterness. It's resentment, it's hate. I see how it turns the siblings against each other. You know what I mean? And I see how the resentment that the child have for their parent just increases even more. You know what I mean? That's why I use an example. They saying that they're taking care of them out of love. I was like, what if you found out you got taken out the will? It's hard for everybody when they think about that because it's transactional. They're expecting something in return. The same way the parents are expecting something in return for them raising you. But they were obligated to. They took the steps necessary to have that responsibility. Example, I said to somebody, when the parent is having a hardship with the child in raising them, roof over the head, whatever it's taking, if they sit back and think, what did I do to deserve this? They can look back and see all the steps that got them in this situation. You know what I mean? How they got that responsibility. The child in that situation taking care of the parents got that burden. They look back and say, what did I do to deserve this? Nothing. They took no steps. You know what I mean? And if anything, I've seen a lot of those those times take a lot longer than the parents. You know what I mean? If anything, the child is more, I don't want to say they necessarily do it better because they both doing it out of hate. There's no love in none of those situations. You know what I mean? And until you realize your true obligation in that situation, you're not going to be able to do it with the right spirit. You expecting something, it's 100% transactional. Like how she said it. I was talking to some people, one person in particular, I said he was having a kid, and I was like, I already knew it was going to be, I saw something that made me think it was gonna be a girl, and I said, "Hey, you want a boy or a girl?" He's like, "Man, I want a son, but you know the girls are the ones that take care of you when you're old." And I'm like, "Bro, that's a curse. Why would you throw that on her? Like that's punishment. Like I'm born to take care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?" And a lot of parents have like they think that you owe them. I was talking to somebody the other day, and the child was telling the parent, "It's not my job to take care of you when you're old." And it started this whole little situation. And then in there, I was gonna butt in, but the parent said, "That's not how I raised you." But I was gonna butt in and say, that parent is telling you that they raised you to take care of them. But I just stayed out of it, you know what I mean? Because they wanted to speak for themselves. Speak for yourself. But I was just pointing out, like, they're saying that it's not your job and you're not obligated. But then they just told you that they raised you. Well, I didn't raise you like this. When they said, it's not my job to take care of you. So that means that you raised them with the obligation in their mind that they supposed to take care of the old people. And then when you look, where I said the example, nothing that God created does that. Like how when somebody said, when you get married, leave your mama and father and cleave to your wife. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do and start a new family. And when you look at every culture who's stuck in the family, they're not productive. What export, like really, what's like the Spanish culture, the African culture? It's like, Africa got some dope stuff, by the way, but who's taking advantage of it? The ones who separated from their parents, bro. Like even if you look at American culture, one last name, not 50 million last name, one family, father, mother, children. But those is relatives, you know what I mean? But apart from it, if I want to take care of my mother and I'm in a position to and I decide, that's why I should do it. It ain't in no other reason. Like for instance, my mother says straight up, I'm taking care of myself and eating healthy so y'all don't have to wipe my butt when I'm up. You know what I mean? It ain't my job to do that. And if I really love my children, there's no way on earth I would put them in a position where they would feel like they got to take care of us. You know what I mean? And I was even talking to my wife because she asked me what I would do in this situation. I said, one, I would put it in my will. Hey man, Pops needs some help. First off, the one job that parents have for their children is to raise them into independence so that they can do this on their own, not to raise them into dependence. You know what I mean? Like to where they feel like they need somebody else or where you set them up to feel like they owe you something. You know what I mean? So I would love to set that example for my children to be independent because that's what I saw from my parents. You know what I mean? But should I end up in a situation to where I need some help? One, I want the best person for the job. I don't want somebody taking care of me out of hate or with hate in their heart or because they feel like they got to. I want the best person for the job. I'm put money involved. You know what I mean? All right, sons, in the will, this money is allotted for whoever gonna take care of me, provide that service that I need right now. If one person does it, he gets all the money. For this job, I'm still take care of it, but for this job, whoever does this is getting this, right? So now okay, I'm getting paid, you know what I mean? And if everybody does it, y'all all get paid. If none of y'all want to do it, y'all don't have to. If y'all don't want to do this, I'm gonna pay somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pay them nice enough to do this. So in the meantime, before that happens, I'm taking care of myself. You know what I mean? I'm not just out here being retarded. Save up some money, you know what I mean? Live in a way to where you don't have to throw that burden on somebody else. You know what I mean? Yeah, but the same thing for you. You don't have to take care of your doggone parent. That's not what it's there for. Like, as a Christian, I love to use Jesus as the perfect example. I don't know the specifics, but apparently he was doing something somewhere, and then everybody like, hey, yo, Jesus, your mom and your brother outside. Jesus, get back to what he doing. You know what I mean? They come back again like, yo, Jesus, we said your mom and your brother outside. He said, bro, who is my mother except she who does the will of my Father? Who is my brother except he who does the will of my Father? They weren't special. It's the same. The same thing he had for his mother is the same thing he had for everybody else. Like, what's the big deal? It's not like, oh, wait, I gotta go take care of my... No, bro. The same, there was no difference. You know what I mean? It's not a different obligation, but the obligation that we have is not in owing somebody. Your parents already got their reward when they got you. There was a cost that came with it. There is no cost for you being born for them other than loving all people. You know what I mean? That's all you have. And when you can realize that, one, I watched it activate the parents, you know what I mean? Who got that burden removed. Like when they watching their child, say, well, now I have to do this. Now I have to step in. That's what you're supposed to do. If anything, I have an obligation to my wife because that's what we signed up for. I took her hand. Now I am obligated. Not my children. It's my job to take care of her. You know what I mean? It ain't the child's job, ever. And for as long as you feel like that, it's going to be hard for you. If anything, you're not even going to be able to really love your parents and honor them. You taking care of them with all this doggone resentment. And I watch. You probably see it because I see how miserable everybody who's ever had to do that is. You know what I mean? And I ain't never seen nobody do it with the right spirit. Which is why I asked the question in the first place. But yeah. Does anybody have a disagreement with what I'm saying? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would, one way or another, don't run from the conversation if it pops up with your parents. Because if anything, I've seen it activate these folks. A lot of parents are just living willy-nilly because they feel like their kid's gonna take care of them. They looking for that return on that investment, or they feel like they got it in the bag. You know what I mean? Whereas if they didn't, like my mom legitimately takes care of herself because she knows that she doesn't know that none of us are gonna take care of us, but she believes that it's not our job. She's not expecting it. You know what I mean? Being that she's not expecting it, if it turns up that way, it's a gift. You know what I mean? And if I'm in the position, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Why would I not do it? You know what I mean? Like the same way if I'm able to help somebody in any situation, if I'm in the position to and I'm willing to help, I ain't got no problem doing it. You know what I mean? My brother don't get better treatment than nobody. You know what I mean? My mother don't, my dad don't, it's the same. And when you can do that, that's when that love is pure. And you can't do it with that fake obligation. And really, like what she just said is, that forgiveness thing, that's the only thing you owe somebody. Which is really just love in the first place. Like if you holding something against somebody, that's not forgiveness. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Does anybody think they allowed to hold something against somebody?
Oh no.
Who would be the worst person to hold somebody against?
Who would be the worst person to hold somebody against?
Something against?
Yeah.
Your mom and your dad.
Oh.
You 100% right, sir.
Okay.
100% right.
What'd you say?
I said yourself, but
Your mom and your dad. You wouldn't be able to hold nothing against yourself if you didn't hold nothing against your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? Because you getting that, like for instance, to honor them is to like really just get past that sin that you was born into. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Be the one who breaks the curse of that hate, that everybody holding something against somebody. You can forgive perfectly straight. You'll be able to love your parents with the right spirit and everybody else the same. You know what I mean? Even your enemy the same, you'll be able to love them. Even though it don't make sense when you try to use your brain to think of it, but nothing better than that. Yeah, anybody have any other 2 cents to add? Are we good?
No, this was good.
Hold on.
I don't know. I was just gonna say like, I don't know. I'm kind of thankful. Like, I don't think I would have ever came to that if it weren't for like having these conversations and stuff. Cause like when you say honor, you kind of get the intellectual. You like what you think honor is. And,
it's impossible to honor your parents with resentment. You can't do that.
Yeah.
you cannot honor your parents with resentment at all. And yeah, but no, you would have came to it. If you really seeking, you're gonna come to it. And you come into these things and seeking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like the same way I saw it on the inside. You got to see it because I saw it on the inside, but you would see it too because even if you weren't seeking, it would be hard for you to take what I just said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because somebody I was speaking to, they told me straight to my face, you're wrong about this one. And they tried to use the Bible. I was like, you don't want to go to the Bible with me on this one. I'm pulling up scripture after scripture. But they still say I'm wrong. But that's, they're not looking for it.
Yeah.
If anything, they may be expecting something. The want that they have, with the expectation that they have for their children to take care of them is not allowing them to see it. They looking for a return on investment. Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they did have that, that's going to make it harder to see it. Whereas if you didn't have it, you'd be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. And it would activate in you what you need to do. You know what I mean? It will make you end up in a situation where nobody going to take care of you. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to think like this because where my mom comes from, them folks live a long time, and they be willing to do they would do everything for themselves until they can't no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about late 90s.
Where's she from?
South Georgia, Bainbridge, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Look, when I was growing up, there was this guy. Every time I came down there, from the time I was a little kid, he was the 100-year-old man, right? 100-year-old man had a beautiful garden with crops. Not no doggone, oh, look at my flowers. Nah, we living off my yard.
Yeah.
And I pull up on the driveway every time I wave. Bro, he was the 100-year-old man from I was a kid to the time I was like in middle school. Nobody took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I go down there and then I don't see the crops no more. 100-year-old man died. But he took care of himself the whole ride.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one interesting thing, right? So this can be used in conjunction with what we're saying right now, but there's this saying, I might quote it wrong, but it's like whatever your way out is, you'll always find your way to your way out. You know what I mean? Like when I used to be in certain situations, to where peep this. When I first started, like in the baby stages of my pursuit of what God considered to be right, I was willing to lose everything. I walk away from my girl, I walk away from the job, I was willing to walk away from my house, I was willing to lose everything, right? But I was doing that in the back of my mind, understanding that I've done so much work with so many different people that there's nothing that I can't do to where I can't just go kick it with somebody. If I need to stay with whoever for it, I could go stay with over 100 people, no problem. They would love to have me there. But in my head, if I ended up there, I'm not just gonna be chilling because I can. I'm gonna cut the grass. I'm gonna do something. You know what I mean? But me with that in the back of my mind was getting closer and closer to that being my reality. You know what I mean? Being that was my way out, it was like I was finding my way there. You know what I mean? But then when it kicked in, it was like, bruh, you got too much skill to be broke. Like, what are you doing? Start doing something. Do something on the internet. I just started doing something here, there, everywhere. One day, one of them things that I did that I forgot I did started making me hundreds of dollars a day. You know what I mean? Then it started making me thousands. I'm like, yo, what? You know what I mean? But it was that thing that turned off I got somewhere else to go, that activated the way that allowed me to keep everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Forgot what I said before that, but when you get away from that activates that thing. If you got that, somebody else gonna take care of me, you're gonna end up right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna find your way out, homie. I don't got the best words for it, but if you get what I'm saying, you're gonna find your way out.
You said dependency.
Yeah, well, it
It's
is a
like
dependency.
when they say if you can do anything, put your mind to it type of vibes. Like if you set your mind on something, good or bad, it will happen. Basically.
And there's a reason why why people experience that. But I will say this: apart from the bad side of it or the whack side of it, the dope side is you really can do all things through Christ. 100%. Especially take care of your doggone self. But yeah, the flip, there was something that I was looking forward to getting to the last time we linked up, which was supposed to be the icing on the cake or maybe the whole cake. I don't know. But when I was saying the feel good thing like that, there was supposed to be a scripture that I was putting with it. And when I was saying all good feelings come from fellowship with the devil, they come from evil.
Yeah.
All feelings are evil. Every last one of them. There's another scripture I was aligning that says, woe unto the man that calls evil good and good evil. You don't know the depths of that, homie. That's why I was kind of saying, like, watch what you calling good. Homie. Yeah, because you're going to be deceived heavy. Yeah. Like, I think it was you specifically, like, it was like, yeah, the good feelings can be deceitful. You know what I mean? Like, they can lie to you. Yeah, it can be bad. Good feelings can make evil feel real great, or it'll make you call evil good. Yeah. And yeah, when I look at folks, like, I want a bad chick.
Right.
We've associated that as good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm a savage.
Everything, it goes deep. It runs so deep, but you also see the woe that come with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But yeah, and to wrap up, can somebody find me some people like scripture? There was some scripture, you don't gotta find it, but yeah. One scripture that backed up everything that I just said. It might have been Jesus. I could be wrong. I think it might have been Jesus. It was like, your neighbor nothing except for to love them or something like that. Yeah. So real. And I hope you get there. Because then you be able to love them with the right spirit. Not like you owe them something other than that. And all that mean is not hating them, not holding nothing against them. You know what I mean? And when you find yourself doing it, go and forgive. Which is really just apologizing for holding something against them, because that's where you wrong it. You know what I mean? Without that, you try.
It's your life to live too.
It's the best life. It's the life that God, listen, when God is love and he created us in his image, he's just saying that we are created in love. You know what I mean? Our whole life was in that. The second we get away from the love is when our life fall away. It's not of our nature. You know what I mean? That nature comes from the devil. That resentment, that holding something from somebody, that unforgiving spirit is all his. And that's why we suffer, and that's why the world suffers. Everybody holding something against somebody.
I got it.
What did it say?
Romans 13:8. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
Yes, that's it. All them doggone commandments you talking about, that's the law right there. Love, homie.
It's in that scripture real quick.
Yeah, that's it. And there is no resentment in love at all. None. It's the direct opposite. Yeah.
So when you recognize resentment, should you try to identify what the resentment is, or should you just move on?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, like I know I have resentment right now in my heart, but I don't know what it is. Like I can't identify where it's coming from. I don't know. Like I can't put like a label on it, like because you did this or that. Or, like I don't know what it is, but I know it's there.
Oh, for your dad? Oh, it's coming from an expectation. Yeah, does that not make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You're holding the fact that he wasn't there against him.
But I feel like I don't care about that part though.
That
sounded bad.
No, and if anything, Satan would love to make you feel that way because you'll never get to it. Yeah. And it doesn't matter why you resent him. It's you wrong in your resentment.
Right.
You ain't got no right to do that. You have absolutely no right to do it. You know what I mean? And it's not about, I don't have a right. It's just for as long as you hold on to it, you're going to suffer. Right. That's how it works. You know what I mean? So if you can, it don't even matter why. Because, all right, for instance, your dad wasn't there, right? What did he do to you? He didn't do nothing to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? The resentment, the only place that it can even come from is the fact that you had an expectation for him to be there. You know what I mean? And if anything, that's not that a child should expect that, but that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Something was missing right there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The expectation of that creates the space for it to happen. And usually the resentment that you get, being that he wasn't there, you didn't technically get it from him. You know what I mean? It festers in that place of the expectation, but yeah, you got it from somebody else in that house, right. Somewhere around the way. And a lot of times when you get that resentment, it may, not even a lot of times, forget it. It may not be any word said. Like I got my resentment from my dad, from my mom, while the whole time she was telling me, hey, you don't hold, you got to have a relationship with your dad. Don't let this come in between. Like she did all the trademark thing or hallmark things you should do in that situation, verbally, physically, but in spirit, she had that resentment towards him. And that spirit she passed to me and my little brother. Us just being right there and being subject to her, whatever spirit she got, we gonna get. You know what I mean? That's what the born in sin thing is. It's not that you are born a sinner. It's just that situation, it ain't gonna help but rub off on you. You know what I mean? Like the same way we was talking about how if I was righteous, it ain't gonna be able to help but rub off on my wife. If I'm unright, it's the same doggone thing. So in that household, that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And if anything, if you didn't hold anything against your mom or your dad, you wouldn't have nothing to hate them. You have no bitterness or no uprising of anything on the inside. There'll be no feeling to it. Now, am I wrong? And when you were talking about like the resentment, was it kind of like a minute ago when you first were talking? Was it like a kind of rise a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. It was like I was getting emotional. I was like,
yeah. That's a direct. Those are supposed to be indicators that we're outside of love. You know, on that straight and narrow path of love, those feelings are supposed. You know how when you drive down the street and you get off a little bit, the brrr, brrr, that's that in you right there, just letting you know, hey, you're getting off the road. You know what I mean? And if you can see when thinking of my dad, that happened, that's telling you right there, you don't love your daddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go and forget, go apologize for the fact that you don't love him. Right. You know what I mean? Pops, I don't know what exactly I'm holding against you, but when I think of you, I just get this rise or whatever it is. And, you know, really the best thing that you can do is realize that or recognize that as resentment and just apologize for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when God forgives you. You know what I mean? And to put it back in layman's terms, like I hear so many Christians talking about ask for forgiveness, ask for forgiveness. I've never seen that in the Bible. It might be there, but I looked. I ain't never seen nobody say ask for forgiveness. That's some weird custom of the world that people leaning into their own understanding got. What I see clearly is, even in the prayer it says, forgive us as our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Mm-hmm.
You're not eligible if you ain't going to forgive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why would I forgive you if you ain't forgiving my other son?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How can I do it?
Right.
You're guilty. You know what I mean? Go and forgive. And then as you do that, then I ain't got nothing to hold against you no more. You know what I mean? So yeah. And the reason, peep this, when I used to tell a story about what happened with me and my pops, the same thing that you was experiencing happened to me every time I told it. I couldn't get away from telling it without that feeling. Or excuse me, I couldn't get away from that feeling when I was telling it. Until I forgave him. Once I forgave him, when I tell the story, it's just like me telling you about a movie I watched. I got no connection to it at all. You know what I mean? It's literally like it's just a story, you know what I mean? But it's nothing in me no more. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you truly forgive. It's just getting right back to that love. You know what I mean? You won't feel pull up the feel the evil thing scripture one more time for me, and then we can wrap. Because it says it in that scripture, if I'm not mistaken. Because you said when a person loves their neighbor, they fulfill the law, right?
Right.
Pull up that feel evil scripture.
The other one.
Yeah.
Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing.
Yeah. If you truly loved, you wouldn't have none of those feelings, homie.
Right.
At all. At all. Yeah.
Whoso keepeth the commandment.
Whoso loveth his neighbor as himself, or just period. Who got back to love and ain't got nothing else but love to give ain't gonna feel no evil thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes even deeper than that. Like, man, they're making big promises in there for those who love. You know what I mean? Big promises. Like, they even say no harm comes to the godly. That's a big old promise, bro. Mm-hmm. That ain't no joke. That ain't no joke. Mm-hmm. That is not no joke, homie. And yeah, the opposite of that should be looked at as indicators that you ain't where you supposed to be. You outside of love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, forgive everybody. Your mama, your dad, that's the best place to start. But yeah, fun, helpful to anybody?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Good?
Very good. Very good.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Huh?
No, very good.
Oh, yeah. I had a blast. Thanks for coming. And if you wouldn't mind stopping that, I greatly appreciate it.